ET Kids. What do you think of my glasses? My sunglasses. This month, we're talking about focusing. These sunglasses, they can help me focus. What are we focusing on? We're focusing on faith. But what is faith? Well, Hebrews 11:1 says, now faith is confidence in what we hope for and assurance about what we do not see. Faith can be kind of hard when you're having faith in a God you can't see. But you know what? I can't see the wind, can I? But if I look at that tree over there, that tree, it moves with the wind. So I can see what the wind is doing to the tree. And if I listen, I can hear the wind. And if I sniff, I can even smell a barbecue that's not even in my yard. The wind is very much there, even though I can't see it, just like God exists. I may not be able to see him, but I can definitely see the different things that he does for me. I can feel his comfort and peace when maybe I'm in a scary situation. I can feel excited when I walk into church because I know he's right there with me. Faith is something that we may not see, but we can definitely have confidence in. Today, I want to tell you a story about Paul. Paul actually wrote most of our New Testament. But in this story, this is before he went by Paul. He was actually known by the name Saul. So for today, I'm going to call him Saul. So Saul, when he was a young man, his faith was really important to him. And he went and studied with a rabbi named Gamaliel. And so he grew up and he was learning from good teachers and he was learning all about God, and it was growing his faith. And as he became a religious leader himself, he thought he had a really strong faith. But at the same time is when we started seeing Jesus followers. And he's a religious leader. The religious leaders. So far in our stories, they haven't had a very good reputation, have they? They've been hunting down the Jesus believers. It doesn't sound like Saul was probably a very good guy then, was he? Because he was hunting people down. He was punishing them for believing in Jesus. But you know what? Jesus has a way of getting our attention sometimes. So we know that Saul was one hunting believers down. And so one day he heard about all these Jesus believers that were in Damascus. And so he went to the high priest and he's like, hey, I want permission to go hunt these guys down. And so the high priest gives him some papers that basically say you've got permission to arrest them and bring them back. Bring them back to Jerusalem. And so he gathers some people with him and they go to a place called Damascus. And it takes a few days for them to get there. And while they're on the road, a really blinding bright light. I bet he wished he had sunglasses. It came upon him and it caused him to drop to the ground. And he's like, I can't see. But you know what? In the Bible, we know that Jesus talked to him. He may not have seen Jesus, but he definitely heard about Jesus. So in Acts chapter 9 and verses 4 through 6, it says, he, referring to Saul, he fell to the ground and heard a voice say to him,
Saul, Saul, why do you persecute me?
Who are you, Lord? Saul asked.
I am Jesus, whom you are persecuting,
He replied.
Now get up and go into the city, and you will be told what you must do.
You know, this happened, and the bright light went away, and all of the people that were with him, they were stunned, and they were silent. And then Saul, he got up, and he was blind. In fact, his people that came with him, they had to take him all the way into Damascus. And he stayed with a man named Judas there for 3 days, blind, unwilling to eat or listen to anybody. But you know what? Knowing Jesus changes the way you see everything. There was no way after this experience he could deny Jesus because he'd heard from him. He'd heard from him. And that's important for you to know. Knowing Jesus can change the way you see everything. I'll see you guys next week. Bye.